I've been with my boyfriend Alex for 2 years. I get along okay with his mom Jane, sometimes she is a bit of a just-no-mother-in-law. Anyway, she got married recently and they wanted a smaller, more laid-back wedding because she did the traditional wedding the first time. They got married at a vineyard and it was really nice. For dinner there was fancy brick oven pizza and salad, and later there was a mac and cheese bar. Dessert was caramel brownie, cheesecake or berry cobblers. I hate cobbler, you probably caught on that there was a lot of cheese. There were also charcuterie boards, so a whole ton of cheese. Don't get me wrong, I like non-traditional weddings and the food was out of this world, but after dessert I was on the verge of shitting myself. I went to the bathroom, feeling like I was going to die, and it wasn't pretty. The groom's two daughters, late teens and early 20s, were in there. They are both horrible, they have talked so much shit about Jane and are just mean girls. When I came out they were both snickering and looking at me. I was mortified. I ended up in there again because holy hell that woman likes cheese. Later I went over to where she was sitting with her new husband and Jane asked if I was having fun. I said it was beautiful, but admitted I'd been in agony because of her menu and she really should have had some more balanced options because a lot of people are dairy sensitive. I then told the groom about what happened with his daughters. He just looked at me weird and then said it was his wedding night and he doesn't want to hear an account of anyone shitting. My boyfriend got annoyed and said I should have just lied because you don't complain to the couple at the wedding, but I feel like she should know for future parties and he should know so he can talk to his daughters. Jane is on her honeymoon, so I don't know if she is mad. She didn't seem it, but a couple of Y friends said I am the a-hole and it isn't Jane's problem. You're the a-hole, Jesus, dude. Nobody made you eat all that dairy and no one cares if you hate cobbler. Yeah, the cobbler comment got me too. It's like she expects their wedding menu to be tailored to her. I bet either the bride or groom likes cobbler a lot. But either way they had two desserts in case people disliked one option. A lot of weddings just have cake. She's treating the wedding as a dining experience, the happy couple as service providers, and herself as a customer who's expecting her money's worth. This is exactly it. Entitlement beyond imagining. Beautiful wedding, fantastic food, but because OP apparently has no impulse control or hasn't heard of lacteds, she criticizes the bride's choice of food just in case for future events. Don't worry, you won't be invited to future events. Right? Just say that everything was amazing and tell her much later, like the next time she was planning an event with a menu, that maybe some dairy-free options would be a great addition. And pepper in a light-hearted story about the bathroom troubles due to her delicious wedding menu that was impossible to not eat because of how good it was, if mom's an open lady like that. Of the whole original story is just so uncouth. I'm lactose intolerant and don't take Lacted, not sure why. I'm just terrible at taking meds, but have zero impulse control with delicious food because I love cheese and dairy, but never in my life would I be caught dead telling someone what they said unless it was my best friend and I knew they would just laugh at my current misfortunes over my obsession with cheese and whatnot. You're the a-hole. A tactless a-hole. There was no reason for you to spoil their night. You could have said it was lovely and kept your opinion on the menu to yourself. If you thought what the girls were saying needed to be addressed, you could have easily sent an email in the following days. Also, if you know you are dairy sensitive, then why did you eat so much cheese in the first place? OP is definitely one of the people who consider themselves honest, but in reality are just rude, tactless a-holes. I wonder why she doesn't have that great of a relationship with her mother-in-law, lol. What the hell? You're the a-hole. None of what you said was necessary. Firstly, nobody made you eat any of this. You know what your dietary restrictions are and should be well aware of your dairy limit. You probably should have had more salad and crackers and less pizza. Secondly, to go to the bride or groom and let them know anyone was talking shit was just crass. Pretty sure it's basic wedding etiquette to not bring up unnecessary drama to bride and groom during the wedding. Thirdly, you think she doesn't know what her stepdaughters say about her? You think he doesn't know? This isn't some grand revelation you made that needed to be shared right that damn moment. You're being a just no daughter-in-law. I got married on Saturday and it was absolutely amazing except for one thing, my parents showed up late. They knew the ceremony time and my husband and I made it very clear to everyone, both in the invites and in person, that we were going to start exactly at that time. The venue cost us a lot of money, we paid for the entire wedding ourselves, and we were only able to use it for a limited amount of time, so we wanted to make every minute count. So the wedding day came, and half an hour before we were scheduled to start, my parents still hadn't showed up. My husband and I both called them multiple times, but nobody answered. We waited and still heard nothing. Finally, the start time arrived and my parents still weren't there. I was really pissed off at this point. The wedding coordinator asked if I wanted to go ahead and start the wedding, and I said yes. All of our other guests were already there, and we wanted to be considerate of their time. My parents showed up 15 minutes later and missed the entire ceremony. It turns out they did leave early, but got rear-ended at a traffic light and had to deal with insurance, police, etc. They only have a landline, no cell phones, so they couldn't get in touch with me. Obviously there's no way I could have known this. I'm still frustrated with them for not making more of an effort to get to the venue early, and they're furious at me for not delaying the wedding 15 minutes so they could be there. Am I the a-hole? No a-holes here, you're not an a-hole for starting on time, you had no idea how late they would be. However, I've not been to too many weddings, but they did last over 15 minutes seemed a bit short, but that's not really the issue. Your parents aren't a-holes, because they were literally in a car crash, albeit not huge, but this is a legitimate reason to be late to any event. Yes, your parents should get cell phones, and it would have helped your timing of the event. Yes, they will be upset that they missed potentially one of the biggest moments in your life, but no one in this situation is an a-hole. Sounds like your parents are the a-hole for not having cell phones in 2021. Seriously, how do you not have one, even if you only use it for emergencies? How did they call the insurance company? Go to a non-existent payphone? Borrow the cop's phone? Yeah, I get that everyone has different circumstances, but this seems so bizarre to me. I don't even know anyone with a landline anymore, other than maybe my 90-year-old grandma. Even she is planning on getting rid of it because it feels arbitrary to have along with a cell phone. I was going to say no a-holes until this. I'm still frustrated with them for not making more of an effort to get to the venue early, and they're furious at me for not delaying the wedding 15 minutes so they could be there. This was a shit happen situation. They did leave early. You couldn't delay indefinitely without losing your venue. Sucks a lot, but it is what it is. Everyone sucks here, for you all pointing fingers and trying to enforce hindsight as the gold standard. My 27 older sister, 30, and her fiancé, 31, were planning for over a year for their wedding to be this month. Obviously, they can't have the wedding as planned, but they still would like to get married, so they decided on a Zoom wedding, where all of the family friends would just call in to watch the officiant, my sister, and her fiancé. My sister didn't want to be in charge of hosting the Zoom call, because she thought it would stress her out, so she asked me to, and I gladly accepted. She and her fiancé decided to invite everyone they originally wanted to, and it was a very big list. When we were going over the list, my sister mentioned to me that she wanted everyone else to be muted for the majority of the wedding, as she was worried that others would talk over her and her fiancé and quote overshadow them on their big day that was already scaled down. However, her and her fiancé said that I should unmute everyone at one point so everyone could talk and have a nice time with each other. Fast forward to the day of the wedding, everyone is muted during the ceremony, which goes great, and so I then unmute everyone and ask to please raise a hand if they'd like to talk so it doesn't get confusing. My cousin, around my age, starts waving his hand crazily, and he's with his longtime girlfriend, also similar age I guess. He's a very gregarious guy, so I was not surprised. Then, he says stuff like my sister and her husband are such an inspiration, it's given me the courage to do this. Then turns to his girlfriend and pulls out a box that is the size of an engagement ring box. I immediately saw this as him trying to steal the spotlight, something that he's done since we were kids. He would secretly mess up my sister and I's drawings if the adults would praise ours, and booted him off of the call. Then I quickly announced that my cousin had technical difficulties and would not be joining again. Everyone else accepted this and went about talking, and my sister and her husband did too. The rest of the wedding went smoothly, except for the fact that my cousin kept texting me angrily saying that he finally wanted to propose as a surprise with family all around, and I ruined it. My aunt and uncle texted me the same. Am I the a-hole? Not the a-hole. Thank God you did that. Your cousin has issues. Who would propose at another person's wedding? That's the definition of overshadowing that your sis didn't want. If I were your sister, I wouldn't even know how to thank you. It's a Zoom wedding too, the lowest effort proposal ever, right? It just sounds incredibly awkward to receive a proposal in front of a webcam, with an audience, in your own home, as a surprise. Is it just me? Could be, but I would definitely not have been prepared if my husband had proposed suddenly, in front of all his relatives, while trying to distance party. By the way, for anyone else Zoom weddinging, I suggest a live stream with a hosted Discord server, voice only, instead of Zoom, perhaps with chat rooms set up like reception tables, if there are so many guests. You could even have a room titled Messages to the Couple, where tipsy guests at home in their PJs can go in and ramble their congrats and well wishes to a recorded channel, or a Zoom for, just that if you prefer video messages. But that is simply my preference as a would-be guest that is a bit camera shy. Edit to add, just thinking how I'd plan my Zoom wedding, and I would also have a peanut gallery voice chat where the people closest to us could chat about us, like how great we look, how happy we are, that time tequila got the best of us, and we lost the bouncy house deposit, etc. That would be an awesome Mystery Science Theater-like voice overlay special feature for the wedding video. Not the a-hole. That was probably the best unintended outcome of the wedding being virtual. Imagine if it had been in person, you'd have had to tackle his dumb ass, lol. Good for you. I'm sure it's annoying that you have to deal with his texts and those of his obviously biased parents. But just be thankful that you're not posting on Here Am I the A-hole for not stopping my cousin's proposal at my sister's wedding.